Hey everybody, and welcome back to Erlengrot. We're rather surprised at the fact that we're out here in midsummer harvesting wheat. After all that rain we had and the rain that was in the forecast, I just did not think that we would have any sort of drying conditions in order to get the crop dried off and in a position to harvest. But as of about mid-afternoon, we did indeed meet the drying conditions in order to harvest. So we headed out here and, well, got the wheat off of this field. You can see we are now baling the wheat on this field and hope to be able to get the wheat and barley, or not wheat and straw, sorry, get the wheat and straw off of the field over there. And, well, maybe we'll take advantage and sell those pink silage bales over there off in the distance. Also today, just have to see. And I've got some updates on the yield on the grass. Very, very interesting update. We're going to get to that here in a little bit once we get all the straw collected off of this field. Getting decent straw off the field. And the yield on this field was rather interesting also. It followed exactly with the soil types, with just some subtle variation. Now, once we turn around, I'll show you the precision farming screen and show you the economic summary for the field. Of course, it probably assumes we are selling the straw other than using the straw. So if we take a look up here, we've got $9,500 in profit at this point, $13,600 in earnings, $4,100 in expenses. And if we take a look, we have, of course, loamy sand, sandy loam, and loam as our soil types. Here are pH bands, nitrogen bands. Really don't have too many nitrogen bands there. Four-wheel steering, I get a little overzealous. But our yield, so we're sitting at 110% yield for our loam, sitting at 90% yield for our loamy sand, and we're sitting at 75% yield for our sandy loam. I have to say, the straw windrow looks pretty much uniform across the whole field. See the bales, I mean, they don't look all that different from one side of the field to the next. It seems like maybe the wheat grain yield is what varies, but possibly the straw yield is the same across all soil types. That might be something of interest if you are if you're farming and really the wheat crop is designed for straw. Then maybe you could put it on a field that was a little less desirable for other crops, knowing that you're not going to really see a yield loss as a result of the soil type on your straw. Go ahead and get this hauled up to the silo. And let's talk a little bit about our grass. So in the last video, we were collecting grass for our fermenting silo and seeing some really low yields on that grass field. Didn't really make much sense because the nitrogen levels were either perfect or just off of perfect. The pH was just one harvest off of perfect. Yet we were seeing yields of like 65% across the entirety of that field. And that field stretched or covered 3 different soil types with different nitrogen level requirements, and subtly varying pH levels based on how much a given soil type loses its pH per harvest. But we had across the entirety of the field the exact same harvest percent. Now, there are 2 other fields, patches of grass, that had, in essence, the exact same nitrogen levels, the exact same pH levels, and they yielded completely different percents. And mind you, all of these fields are in their second cut and we're at the exact same growth stage. Okay, let's chew on that for a little bit as we drive back to our field, jump in our harvester, and then I'll show it to you on the menu, the map. Other than that, we've been doing really good. Almost $77,000 in the bank. We've got grass collected off of 3 of our smaller fields, and that should get us pretty close to the 800,000 liters that our fermenting silo will hold. So the rest of the grass is really just sitting out there and really just waiting. If we have an opportunity to cut it again and bale it, we will. Pull on up here and empty our harvester, so we start at a empty point. And just so that we can talk about things, I'm going to hire a helper here. So let's take a look. So we're seeing the same banding here following the soil types. Okay. And pre-harvest pH levels, we are sitting at 6% or 6.0 on our loam. And that is falling to 6.75 on our loam post-harvest. We're sitting at 6.25 on our sandy loam, just falling to 6 on our post-harvest. And we're looking at 5.5 on our, oh no, sorry, this is loamy sand. This is sandy loam. 5.5, and it is dropping to 5.75, and it's dropping to 5.5-ish, okay? And we're seeing across all of 5, this is interesting. This kind of follows up with some interesting inaccuracies or inconsistencies. So across all of 5, after harvest, we are dropping to 60. In the loam area, again, in the loam area of field 6, we're dropping to 60. But in the sandy loam area 6, we're only dropping to 80. Yet in field 5, we dropped to 60. Now, mind you, field 5 had an even level of nitrogen across the entire field, just as we do here in field 6. We've got 200 units. Okay, so we're dropping 200 units, and we're dropping to 60. So we're losing 140 to 120 for 160 yield. Between 160 and 120 yield units of nitrogen is lost on this field. Yet field 5, we only have 2 gradients, really, of nitrogen. And our yield is interesting also. Got a little stretch of 125, 115, 180. But these fields had the same, basically the same nitrogen levels and the same pH levels prior to harvest. Let's go over here and take a look at our graphs. And this is where we were seeing some really weird things. Okay, so pH. We never saw a pH drop across this field when we mowed it. And I went and mowed these 2 fields subsequently, and their pH didn't drop either. But you see, this area and this area have the exact same pH. You're going to see their exact same soil type. Okay? They also have the exact same nitrogen levels of 200. Yet when I mowed them, this area was 65. This little strip is 65. I'm going to explain this little strip here in a minute. And this here is 105. So why did this area yield 105, where this little strip and this here yielded lower, yet it's got the exact same nitrogen level and the exact same pH level, and it's the exact same soil type. And they were both cut before. This is the second cut, and they were both in the exact same growth stage. Okay, now, a little detail on what this little strip is. It's at 65%. This is when I booted up on a save game. So I mowed all of this, that is at 105, during one game session. I didn't quite get done. So I saved it, I exited, launched the game, I finished mowing. And just a mere act of relaunching the game, and no other time passed. I didn't fast forward a new day. It was literally stop mowing, save the game, exit. Let maybe 2 hours of real time go by. doing real things, boot the game, mow the rest, and suddenly it's not 105 anymore, it's 65. Now up here, this yield is silty clay. So we can expect different because it's just a completely different type of soil, right? It has completely different pH levels of 6.75, completely different nitrogen levels of 180, and it managed to yield 85 across the whole session. And I mowed this right after I mowed this. So I still don't understand. Yield seems to be a little bit of a crapshoot, quite honestly. Why is, this has the exact same pH all the way across, the exact same nitrogen level all the way across, the exact same soil type, yet here we've got better yield than here. This is obviously why it's got a different yield. It's a different soil type, as is here. But this whole section, in essence, should be the same because it has the exact same pH and the exact same nitrogen level. So what else is going into factoring yield? I don't know. Remember, these were bought fields. We bought these fields. This is the first time we've harvested. We're going to need to do some, obviously some lime work on here because we have now bad pH throughout the entirety of the field. But I'm not complaining. I really don't care about yield. I don't play the game to maximize yield on every field. If I get 50% yield, I'm not any more upset than if I got 125% yield. My goal is to have enough crop to feed my animals. That's my goal. I expanded my land holdings so I'd get more straw because I want to do manure more than slurry. Field manure goes further. That's the only reason I expanded my land holdings, was to be able to have more straw. The grain yield is just on bonus, on tap, because our chickens sure don't need a lot of wheat. We've set up our pig food mixer, so it's not really using all the required grains. In fact, I think we did set it up for wheat and barley and corn. Go down there and just see. Just remind ourselves how we set that up. Wheat, barley, oat, corn, and soybeans. We have 10,000 liters of barley still in there. So yeah, I don't know, is precision farming a little buggy? Can we expect an update to come out to address some of these bugs? I mean, there's zero reason why one part of a grass field that is the exact same soil type, the exact same nitrogen, the exact same pH level, would suddenly yield 40% less. The only variable was exiting the game and relaunching it. The only variable. The same mower, same time of day. You know, I expect yields like field 6, field 5 and 6. This is what I expect. I don't expect to see the exact same yield across multiple soil types. Are you telling me that we somehow managed to have the precise pH and the precise nitrogen variances across these soil types to ultimately produce 65% yield? And if that's the case, then why, if this is loam and this is loam, and it has the exact same nitrogen, 200, the exact same pH, 6.5, then why is the bulk of this field 105% and all of this field 65%? Dare I say, riddle me this. Riddle me that. I'd like to know from you guys what kind of interesting variances, maybe inconsistencies, are you all seeing in your yields related to precision farming, related to maybe what, sorry, maybe related to what you were expecting to see? And again, I don't play it to maximize my yields. It's not my goal to figure out exactly how I'm going to get the maximum yield across all my fields. I play to enjoy the game. And I'm enjoying the new intricacies of the precision farming gameplay. Just sometimes a little frustrating when you see things like that, which are inconsistent. You know, if I'm deliberately not putting enough nitrogen down to get maximum yield, then I'm doing that on purpose. I mean, I don't want to get maximum yield. It's fine. But I would expect to get, to be able to predict the yield level that I would be getting. These silage now. All right, good. So this is from the summer contracts video. And we can now sell those $218 a bale. That was some added income on top of the contract from the other day. I'm just going to go ahead and, well, finish baling up this field of straw. Get this straw collected off the fields. And looks like we need to bring down some net wrap. Trying to get that net wrap used up because I want to get rid of the that crone baler. It's just, like I've said before, I don't like how it pops the bale out. Just isn't as smooth as it should be. Got just 3 more net wrap bales or rolls. So we should be able to get rid of this with our straw baling. Without too much problem. I do want to look again as we progress down the windrow. If it looks like our bale is being fed more or less at the same rate or at a different rate as we progress across the different yield bands, because I really feel that straw yield is not being affected like maybe the grain yield is. Let's watch as we go across here. See if that indicator, if we feel that bale counter really speeds up or slows down. As a frame of reference. So the 6 is where we really separate from one yield band to another. And then so we use that as a frame of reference as we kind of cross the 6. We are crossing different yield bands. And we should be able to detect in our straw filling that it starts to fill at a slower rate. So I'm just going to watch the percent counter go up and kind of get a feel for how fast that's ticking up, and I should be able to see it, should be able to detect if it slows down, it's ticking. So we should start to get into a lower yield. I don't know, felt pretty much Hard to tell. If really the distance between that bale and that bale is less than the difference between that bale and that bale. And I guess it is. Then again, that bale, we picked up some material. You know, overall, I just don't think straw is affected by yield. I think straw output is a constant. I never felt straw was affected by fertilizer anyway. You know, you think it would be because the plant wouldn't be as tall. But I guess the gamification of the crop makes straw uniform across everything. Alright guys, so that's where we're going to leave it. Let me know in the comments if you have seen interesting inconsistencies with yield that you really wouldn't have expected based on maybe multiple fields that had the same soil type, the same pH level, same nitrogen level, yet yielded different. And until next time, happy farming. Be sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell.